welcome to Bill's Brunch, the daily morning show where we talk about the latest topics in entertainment. I'm Brittany Jones-Cooper.
I'm Shannon Coffey.
I'm Gibson John.
And I'm Lucas Tim.
Yeah! So today we're going to talk about Kumail Nanjiani and Emily Gordon's new project, Jared Leto's cryptic hoodie, the big debate over Mayo Chup, and award-winning filmmaker Andrew Jenks joins the table. But first,
Guys, did anyone else watch the incredible cartoon Avatar: The Last Airbender on Nickelodeon? Nickelodeon, best show ever.
We didn't watch.
we didn't. No.
Oh, what are you guys doing on Friday nights? Anyway, it's this animated show about, it's inspired by Asian influences about this guy who can control all four elements, and they are turning into a live-action show on Netflix, because Netflix owns my soul and everything that I love. And the original creators are behind it, and they're promised no whitewashing, because there was an M. Night Shyamalan movie that got in trouble for that. So I'm really excited for it.
Yeah.
Woo! Avatar.
Hey, Allie, what do you think about that?
I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
So this is not Allie. Allie's busy.
I'm filling in today.
She's studying with Tibetan monks in Tibet, so she'll be back shortly.
She's very focused on her practice.
I love that.
So brave.
Yeah.
Very focused.
Well, in other news, Kanye West is expected to release another album. The rapper recently took to Twitter and Instagram to tease the news, posting an image resembling the cover of his 2013 album, Yeezus, with the caption, Yandi, 92918. Kanye has yet to confirm exactly what Yandi is, but the project's release date coincides with his appearance on the season premiere of Saturday Night Live. Whew, this is spooky. What does it all mean?
What does it all mean?
Man.
Yeah, those numbers, I can't figure out what they might mean.
It's like the Da Vinci Code. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm sure it means
Let's
something.
unlock.
I just can't figure it out.
929. Yeah, SNL and Kanye West, always a good combo. Not sure what's gonna happen. Yeah, you know, cool. Cool, we're gonna get a new album.
I'm so over Kanye. It's
Yeah,
hard for
I
me to
know.
get hyped about it. Like yesterday, actually, in the makeup room, we were listening to Late Registration, and I was like, I just miss the old Kanye. This new one sucks. And so when he's doing this stuff, I'm like, good for you. He's keeping his career afloat. I'm happy that he's going on SNL. I'm happy that he has a new album. But like, I didn't listen to the last album. Probably not gonna listen to this one. He's sort of like, I'm off of Kanye. We're on a break.
I know. And last time he was on Saturday Night Live, he did, to his credit, he does always do a very good staging. He kind of comes up with something different every time that hopefully will be interesting this time. I'm not sure about the music. I agree with you. I didn't listen to the last album, but you know, maybe it'll be interesting.
So I'm assuming with Yandi, he's comparing himself to Gandhi.
Yeah.
Right.
Which makes sense. Kanye West is the Gandhi of our time, so I've been saying, you know, wow.
Yeah.
And like, why are we co-signing this? Like, he's comparing himself to Jesus and Gandhi.
I'm actually
at
more
least-
offended by the Gandhi one, to be honest.
You know what, like, Gandhi is problematic, or he
Totally.
was problematic, so like maybe that's what Kanye's saying is like, I am problematic. I am kind of saying things that are super racist.
Yeah, that could be true.
If it was that deep, I could get on board. But maybe he's like, it's commentary on even our most like idolized figures are problematic and flawed.
Yeah.
But I don't think he thinks that.
Oh, he's just saying he's as great as his
Yeah, I
idolized
think-
figure.
Very self-important,
Yeah.
I'd say.
I do love in other Kanye news that he tweeted that he's like gonna teach a class at the Art Institute of Chicago, and they were like, no, that's not happening. Like, I don't know what he's talking about. Like that's Kanye. I kind of like where he's like either it's delusion or just an idea in his head that he
Yeah.
just thinks like it's real, and they're like, no, it's not real.
Yeah, that's why him and Trump are boys, because they just say things and they're like, well, people will make it happen. It's like, no, it's not real. You can't just make up that.
Yeah.
Not real.
Yeah.
But I am happy that he does have some music coming out with Chance, and that they are really putting so much of their focus back into Chicago. That's something I can stand with Kanye on. I think recently he made a comment about how he wants to move back to Chicago and never leave. And I do think like that city needs these men to speak for them and to like bring money and influence and new things there. So that I can stand behind Kanye on, is that he's like kind of going back to his roots a little bit and kind of focusing maybe on like what is actually important instead of all the Hollywood stuff.
I agree, but I hope it's not all talk, because we see these days that it's a lot of talk. He says he tweets all the time. He says a lot of big things, so I hope that he actually kind of stands by that and backs it up with action, you know?
Yeah, I don't really see him actually being able to live in Chicago again, like at all. Like, how is he gonna do that when he is a Kardashian?
Exactly.
Is Kim really gonna move to Chicago?
That's
I don't see that.
That'd be
Kanye
a whole
Kardashian.
storyline.
Chloe
Yes.
moved to Cleveland. Chloe did move to Cleveland for Tristan.
For like a
but-
minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then got the fuck out.
That's
yeah.
true.
And I would say Chicago is a great city, so I don't think Kim would do it in the cold though. Don't know. It's very cold there for the winters.
Those would be some good outfits.
Good outfits though.
Lots
That's
of
true.
fur.
Also, Kanye apparently he filed the paperwork to start a film company. So he may be making movies. So are we all excited for Kanye West's movies?
Clap your hands if you're excited for Kanye West movies.
Yeah.
Surprise!
I love the ones like, I still like him.
Not a clap.
Someone like hid their hands. They were like, never! I was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, good for him.
Okay, good for him. Enough of the news.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, good for you. A new secret project is currently in the works for powerhouse duo Kumail Nanjiani and Emily Gordon. The couple recently revealed that they're currently writing another movie together. Details about their latest project are still under wraps, but the news comes on the heels of their critically acclaimed hit film, The Big Sick, which nabbed an Oscar nomination for Best Original Screenplay. So it was just that his name, I was trying to say that right, and then the whole read just went off.
You know what? You got through it, though.
I got through it.
You did.
I survived, and yeah. Anyway, the point is they're working on a new movie together.
Yeah, I'm so excited. This is really fun. You know, hopefully they are going to continue to work together because they're married, right?
Right.
I feel like I read an EW article and it just sounded like he was like, yeah, we're going to write. Like they don't have a project in the works right now because they're both very busy, but it sounded like he was just like, we're not getting divorced.
Right.
Right.
Well, The Big Sick was great, and if it's as good as that was, it's going to be amazing. But we talked about this, like that was based on their true story, and maybe they just have to live a little bit more to have something to write about. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see what it's actually going to be about. But both of them seem like very talented writers in their own right. So maybe they'll just have to come up with a new story. But I was looking at this comparison, and you kind of touched on it. It's like, what is it like working with a spouse at such a high level? I mean, do you think, I don't know how you can separate work and your personal life, or if that's something
I feel like
you do.
just some couples have it in them to be really good work partners and romantic partners, and I just don't know if everyone has that. You know, you look at, like, of course, Jay-Z and Beyonce, of course, but like Tina Fey and Jeff Richmond, her husband who wrote the music for 30 Rock and the Mean Girls.
And the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and Jimmy Kimmel and his wife, who's the head writer of his show. Like that works. That's an extremely close relationship, and they seem great. At least
that is my favorite pairing. Jimmy Kimmel's wife, Molly McNearney. She is so smart, so talented. She's been on his writing team forever. She's the head writer. I mean, she's really, literally putting the words in his mouth.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then it's like she has to go. I wonder if she like runs. I feel like she runs everything.
Probably.
Yeah.
Seriously, like Jimmy Kimmel is nothing without Molly. You heard it here first.
Woo!
And then there's Melissa McCarthy.
I'm serious.
Melissa McCarthy and Ben Falcone, her husband, who played the air marshal in Bridesmaids. They were actually married. They produce, write so many movies together.
Yeah.
I mean, there are actually quite a lot of celebrity couples that like work together.
They work together, and Melissa and Ben do a lot. Like pretty much all of Melissa's movies these days are with him, and I'm curious sort of if it's hard to kind of back out of that and be like, I kind of want to like work with somebody else.
Right.
Or if that's like an awkward conversation
Yeah, like
to
what
have.
if the movie didn't go well and you're like, I don't want to work with you.
I know.
Oh, that's so scary.
Yeah.
Good thing The Big Sick worked out.
Totally. Could be like, oh, it was all
point.
your fault. Like, you have bad taste. And like, ooh.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm just glad it seems like these people, like, you know, and when, funny with like Ben, who's like, I guess career really depends on Melissa, you know, he, you know, clearly Melissa's hysterical and a genius in her own right, so he's the right type of guy that can really support her and work with her, and which I like.
And it's clear that a lot of these couples have fun together, and I think that's probably the most important. I mean, with Jimmy Kimmel and his wife, Molly, right? Molly is her name. You'll see, you know, when like Rihanna and Britney would break into his house at 5 a.m. She's the one that lets them in. She's laughing along with us. Like, I think that some of these couples just find a niche and kind of find a groove, and they just go with it, and they have so much fun with it.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like it would be ideal. Like if you love your work that much and then you can share it with somebody, and you know what I mean, and they really get it, and you don't have to explain all of it.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. Like this is sort of related, but not like Mika. And is it Joe? Mika Brzezinski and her co-host?
Joe Scarborough.
Oh my, Morning
and then,
Joe?
Like,
Morning
we saw
Joe.
them working together every morning and flirting, and you're like, you guys are obviously hooking up. And now they're engaged. You're like, I knew it.
Yeah.
But it's like they get to work with their best friend every morning. They both care so much about politics and news. You know what I mean? I feel like there's something really attractive about
And that is actually one of the best recurring SNL sketches they do. It is so funny when they start flirting through fighting or whatever. Because I watched the other day because I don't know, it was on TV and I watched, and it's so true. They have this, like Mika has like a like has like and Joe
Sexual
starts getting
tension.
sexual tension. Yeah, it's great. I'm glad that worked out.
Yeah.
You know, 5 a.m. in the morning, they found love.
That's what I'm looking for. I want to marry another host. Moving on. Jared Leto is not here for you, Victoria's Secret fashion models. The Suicide Squad actor has frequently been spotted wearing a sweatshirt listing the salaries of some of the world's highest paid models, including Kendall Jenner, Gisele Bündchen, and Gigi Hadid. Leto has yet to comment on what message, if any, he's trying to send, but that hasn't stopped the internet from speculating, because the internet loves to speculate.
Ooh,
We know that.
The internet. love it.
I mean, all I took away from this is that Kendall's making $21 million a year.
Go, girl.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Kris Jenner, I salute you.
I can't believe she
Good
makes
job.
so much more than Giselle.
I know.
Like,
Yeah.
so much more.
Well, this year maybe. I think Giselle maybe used to make more, obviously.
And Giselle's older, has children, like so. I'm just saying.
So she's not as pretty anymore.
So she's not worth anything?
No, she's
I love
worth.
when Lucas brings up aging women.
Okay, you know how I defend aging women.
Thing?
You know how I love aging. No, I'm saying she says Kendall's like really hustling, so like I'm
Yeah.
sure that's why you make a lot. I really did not like this sweatshirt because I mean this take I took from it as this picture and pointing to America. I think he's commenting on these models making a lot of money for just being models, and I have to say this guy made $7 million for Suicide Squad, which is a terrible movie.
Yeah.
So shut the fuck
Yeah,
up.
I don't think it was a movie.
I don't think why yeah, thank you. Why comment on these models who are making money doing the work they want to do, the women doing what I just feel like that's a shaming of women that we don't need to be doing. I didn't like it.
You go.
I will say, I feel like people make so many rude comments about how modeling is just like not a real job and it's really easy, but they always shoot in the worst conditions.
Yes.
And they have to shoot like wearing close to nothing or wearing too much heavy stuff. It's actually really hard. And like, we've all taken photos of ourselves and we look like shit 24/7.
Yes.
Totally.
It's not easy to be like, I look good and
Right.
here's a neck and here are eyes that are smizing
Right.
and I'm also showing the clothing and the clothing's not wearing me.
Totally.
It's not
Yeah.
easy.
I think what is important to know that we aren't sure exactly what he's trying to say with this sweatshirt.
Yeah.
When I saw it, I was like, I want to wear this. I want to celebrate how much Chrissy Teigen's making.
Yeah.
I want to celebrate how much Gigi Hadid's making. It is. I saw a Page 6 article that said that this is 30 Seconds to Mars merch, which is his band promoting his album called America.
Yeah.
So he probably is making some comment, but
Right.
I was too quick to judge. He very much could be celebrating the fact
celebrating
that
Gigi.
Kendall Jenner and Gigi are making those money. So, Jared, if you want to tweet at us at Bill's Brunch,
Yeah.
Let
and
us
please
know.
explain your side of the story, and I will apologize if that's the case.
You did say that there were other lists on
So
different
so
sweatshirts, right?
the other 30 Seconds to Mars merch, there's one that is sex positions, which is, okay, thank you, Jared.
What if he's complaining about sex positions and he's like, we should just do missionary only, and you're like, what, dude? Sure,
There's like,
calm down.
there's the biggest companies in America. There's a couple other ones that you can buy on their website for
Yeah.
like $75 each or something like that, but
See, the company's one I can get behind. I'm like, don't attack models.
Right.
I'm like,
Right.
let's attack the actual
Yeah.
Wall Street, you know?
or raise awareness for how little public school teachers are made. Like,
Exactly.
that
Or
would be more interesting.
nurses.
Or nurses. Like that would be like, oh, like $10,000 teacher in 5th grade in
Right.
Nebraska, whatever.
Right.
Like that would be like, what?
Flip it.
Flip it.
Yeah.
yeah.
I got you.
Ideas. Again, tweet at me.
Yeah. Is that what we want to do? We want to make 30 Seconds to Mars merch now? That's what we're asking.
That's what the show's gonna become.
Collaborate
Just for
with
that.
us,
We're
consult
just like,
with
and
us.
so we think Ariana Grande's merch should actually have no list. Yeah.
He's just gonna show up with all of our names on his back next week. Gosh, shit.
I'm here for it.
We pissed off Jared.
Oh, man.
But this kind of gets into like other fashion statements this year.
Yeah.
You know, we of course had the infamous Melania Trump jacket. I don't care, do you? Which I don't know what
not
that.
talk about
I know we literally when we
See, I
brought.
still think that was shade to Donald, so I'm not even mad at
Yeah,
her.
you're
Okay.
reading it not
Yeah.
like shade.
I'm not even mad at her anymore.
Shade to like the people in the hurricanes. It's more like it was like shade to Donald
It was
Trump.
shade to Donald.
I think probably evidence pointing to she was shading her husband. I think so. Let's just go with that. Let's go with that
with
side
that
of
story.
Melania.
My
I
favorite
know.
though is Jennifer Lewis at the Emmys.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know her, she plays the grandma on Blackish. She's iconic. If you don't follow her on Instagram, please do. But she wore this in support of Nike and their support of Colin Kaepernick,
Yeah.
which I think was really badass. When everybody's wearing these gowns and she's in a bedazzled Nike sweatshirt, I'm like, ugh, she's everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And her poses were all sort of like superhero.
Yeah.
It was a moment that it was one of the highlights, I think.
And she's a classically trained dancer, so she has this one where she does a high kick and her kick is like over her head. Oh, she's so cool.
Oh, man.
I just want to be her.
I hate flexible people. They make me feel so bad about myself.
I know, I do.
Yeah, I can't even sit up straight. In other news, ketchup company Heinz has just announced plans to roll out a new condiment hybrid. The mashup will be a blend of ketchup and mayonnaise called Mayo Chup, and it will be available at stores nationwide. The company has already introduced the special combo overseas, but held a vote on Twitter earlier this year on whether to bring the product to the U.S. Okay,
You have some feelings on this.
We're gonna let Shannon take this first.
so this is cultural appropriation is what this is, okay? It's not mayo chup, it's mayo ketchup.
Yes.
And it has existed for decades, for centuries. I mean, Jesus probably made it. I'm just like, it's so weird that all of a sudden Heinz is like, guess what? We did. We put mayo and ketchup together. This is not new. Goya has been bottling this stuff for years. Goya, do we have a spokesperson for Goya in the audience? Do we have any like Latins in the audience? Like, did you guys not have mayo ketchup?
No.
They don't care.
Just no. But
This is some white nonsense, and I'm not here for it. I am not here for it. You can't just be like, and guess what we have now? A new condiment. This is...
It's literally two condiments put together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also it already exists.
Right.
And she mentioned this earlier this morning, and I did a deep Google search, and literally everybody in Puerto Rico, Colombia, they're like, what the hell is this? Nice try, Heinz. We've had this literally for decades.
Right.
Even in Utah.
Yeah.
They have fry sauce. It's like even the people of
Yeah.
Utah have this. Like, okay,
Mormons
fine.
have
but we
it.
have to open
If the
everyone else's
Mormons
eyes.
have it, everyone has it.
The Mormons were ahead
Yeah.
of you on this one.
Mormons
Like, come
aren't
on.
even allowed to eat chocolate, and they have mayo chup, whatever you call it, mayo chup.
Even the name is a little bit maddening. It's
Yeah.
It is. It's hard to say also. And the
doesn't roll off
color's
the tongue.
gross.
It's just nasty.
Well, actually, I've never actually had
Oh, really?
that
combo.
before. No,
Oh,
I've
it's
never
so
had the combo.
good. It's so good on tostones or fries, on anything. It's really good. It makes sense. It's just we don't need to bottle it up also. I'm so tired of people being like, you know what, I need another bottle of something I can make myself.
Right.
Welcome to America, where everyone is legal.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember when Heinz or they made those like colored ketchups a while ago?
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
refused
purple ketchup.
to eat those.
Disgusting.
I remember
don't know.
at school I went to, they would serve lunch, whatever, and they'd have those colored ketchups. And when we look at coolers, I'm like, no, never going to eat that.
Yeah.
That's like the Instagram thing coming back around, where
Right.
they have to experiment with all the foods. They have to combine everything. It's kind of this trend that I'm just sort of like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
this one's not attractive.
No.
Let's just.
I guess I'm happy that it's not like unicorn ketchup. And it's just like 400 different colors, and you're like, we're dying. What is in this?
There's so much food dye in it.
Yeah.
Well, there are other weird food combos. There are jalapeno M&Ms, which.
Nope.
Do we like that?
Nope.
I don't.
Nope.
Oh, you guys are all turned about that, but you don't care about cultural appropriation when it comes to condiments? I see you.
And then like Lay's chips does like every
Contest
yeah,
every
like
year.
cinnamon
Yeah.
Those gross me
chips
out.
or whatever.
Lay's
I
chips
just like
is
plain
like
classic
pubic
Lay's.
hair flavor and toenail
Yeah.
flavor, and you're like, you need to stop.
It's literally the Harry Potter gummy, you know?
Yeah.
But I think that what is smart
Flavor
about
beans,
it
you guys know.
is that I guess the Heinz is doing a contest where people can kind of like, if they want it in their state, they can let that be known and have it be there first before other states.
This
I don't
is-
really
Or
understand.
they can just
But
take ketchup
I
and
know.
mayo and squeeze it on the same plate.
Yeah,
that's
let's
what Lay's
not make
does.
Americans get on Twitter and beg for mayo chup.
But it
I'm
gets
like,
them
we've been through
involved.
enough as a country. We don't need to be on Twitter and be like, please, Heinz, give me the mayo chup at my store so I can pay $7 a bottle for
Right.
this. We're going to hell. We're
Yeah.
all going to hell. We're in hell.
We're in it.
I don't
We're
think
in
so.
it.
This is hell. This is hell.
This is hell.
I mean, frankly, all I have in my refrigerator are condiments because I don't cook. And so I don't need another one.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. It's
You have
just-
no room.
I have no room.
Yeah, but I definitely like that, like, literally, they're out. America, like, make your voices are like, no, we have more things, more things. We have the midterms, focus on that.
Yeah, make your voice heard in November, guys.
Yeah.
It's not about mayo. Mayo chup.
If we have to
Right.
put this on the ballot, I don't care. If that gets you all the vote, we'll do it.
Yeah.
You'll try it.
I'll
free
try
tag
it. It's on the
on
ballot.
Okay.
You vote for your local
We're holding
congressperson.
Lucas to that.
Yeah,
Right,
local
awesome.
congressperson, governor, Mayo Chup. We'll vote. That gets you to vote.
That
we'll do
is
Fine.
it. Hey,
people-
I'm
yeah.
solving it right
Come on.
here.
Also, does it really say saucy sauce on it?
Saucy sauce.
saucy sauce.
What is happening?
So they're like trying to be cool.
Yeah. This is weird. If I came to work one day and I was like, I have a new side hustle where I make this new like condiment called mayo chup or mayo chup, and I was mixing ketchup and mayo, you'd be like, what's wrong with you? We're gonna have you committed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I sort of think that sometimes.
It would just be
anyway.
like, look,
Yeah.
I like invented like hand sneakers so I can like do cartwheels. It's like you just put on gloves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just think of that just
Hand
right now.
I
sneakers.
stole it from Will and Grace because I was thinking like, oh, what's a stupid invention? I was like, oh, that's a joke, Will and Grace. But that's kind of what it is. It's like it's been
Yeah.
around. You just wear gloves.
I want hand sneakers.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty cool.
Hand sneakers is actually a really great idea, and I think we should bottle it and
Okay.
sell
I
it.
agree. Do you want to go in that?
Yeah,
together?
let's go
Okay,
in.
cool.
We'll
Aren't
Yeah.
hand sneakers just rubber gloves?
Right. That was.
But
the
like
joke.
they already exist.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
I'm saying that this already exists.
All right.
But they don't have
My
shoelaces.
mind goes in a lot of different ways sometimes. Yeah. Anyway,
All right.
moving on to our very special guest.
Yes.
Andrew Jenks is an award-winning filmmaker and writer whose work has been featured on some of the most recognizable media platforms. He's also the creator of the critically acclaimed podcast, What Really Happened, which shines a spotlight on untold historic news stories and famous figures. Everyone, please give a warm Build Brunch welcome to Andrew Jenks. Lucas, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. What's going on? How are you?
Go that way.
Gonna be right in the middle.
This
Yeah,
way.
this way. Welcome to the table.
Thank you very
Welcome,
much.
welcome.
What do you
Andrew-
think about mayo chup?
Yeah.
By the way.
I feel like, has anyone tried it?
No.
Yes,
Well-
it's mayo and ketchup.
But have you tried it though?
The Heinz
Yes.
one.
The Heinz version.
It's existed forever. Not Heinz,
But
but
that's
they're
what
not
I mean,
doing
the
anything
Heinz version.
special. You think they have like a little special sprinkle of something in there?
I don't know. I want to really try it now.
Do you work for Heinz?
Is this something you'll be exploring season 2 of your podcast, maybe?
Yeah.
Our podcast will fail if we do an hour-long investigation into. Well, actually, you never know.
I don't know. I
Surprise you.
feel like it's a polarizing topic.
Yeah,
that
clear.
people can
I'd
get
love
into.
for you to be a guest.
Yeah.
You clearly.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
But Andrew, I'm so happy you're here. I am a total history nerd, and your podcast is really incredible. And I just
great.
want to know, like, what was the inspiration behind it? What made you? Because you're a very successful documentary filmmaker. What made you say, let me do a podcast?
So there's a story from 1981 where Muhammad Ali was in Los Angeles on the 9th floor of an office building, and there's a guy who's 21 who was a Vietnam vet, apparently, that was threatening to commit suicide. Muhammad Ali happened to be in the area, gets a call about this, and shows up in 4 minutes. And I was like, I'm a sports fan. I've made a couple of ESPN movies, never heard about this story. And then I thought about it, and if anyone's been to Los Angeles, like,
Right.
you got there in 4 minutes?
No way.
And then he went up, he talked the guy down in 30 minutes, and then it turns out the guy wasn't a Vietnam vet. I called the LAPD and tried to track down like the records, police files of that day. They were missing.
Wow.
And so I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all, but I was like, this story doesn't add.
Right.
So I was meeting with $7 Productions, Danny Garcia, Dwayne Johnson, he's this indie actor.
Yeah.
And
I think I've seen a couple.
Guys, that's
Yeah.
The Rock, in case you're confused.
yeah, The Rock. And I told them about this idea as a documentary.
Right.
And what's cool when you meet with them, they're kind of like, a documentary is interesting, but they think of, how do we make this bigger scale?
Mm-hmm.
And so we ended up, after meeting a few times, talking about it as the first episode to a podcast. And because podcasts are kind of growing exponentially, what if we took sort of the documentary form into a podcast, and so that became the first episode.
Very cool.
And what are some of the challenges? Because obviously telling a story with video is probably much easier. So how did going to strictly audio kind of affect how you approach stories?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's in a lot of ways a lot more fun and interesting because you get to focus on the story so much more. Because 50% of what I'm used to, which is telling the story through a visual, is gone. So all of those, this is such a cliche, but all those tools in the toolkit are no longer there. And it's a lot more challenging in that I now have to tell a really good story, just like a campfire story.
Yeah.
And maybe it's 45 minutes, maybe it's an hour, and it's so easy for you to be like, I have a million other things I can do, I don't need to listen to this, gone. But I get to focus on the story much more because I don't have to, like I think about this one movie I made called Dream Killer in Missouri. And I wanted to let everyone know that it was people watching the film, it was the morning of, we were filming inside this prison, and it was early in the morning. And so we spent 3 hours outside getting this beautiful shot of showing the sunrise over the prison. And with a podcast, you can be like, and so then it was the morning. It's not that I'm lazier, it's just easier to kind of tell the parts that matter.
Yeah.
And that part of it, I think I've been surprised by. Get to focus on the story more.
Totally.
And in season 1, you covered a variety of topics from like Churchill to Princess Diana to then Britney Spears' meltdown.
Yeah.
What goes into picking the topics you're going to cover?
The really cool thing about podcasts is that, and also a cool thing about working with Dwayne Johnson, 7 Bucks Productions, Cadence 13, is that I did a nice job, a little shout out.
Yeah. You're really good at remembering
Nailed
names.
those, yeah.
Always forget.
Is that they, you can kind of do whatever you want. So a really surprising part of this all has been, when I went in, I said, I'd love to do an episode on this thing about Ali, another one about why Michael Jordan retired, another one about Britney Spears, Winston Churchill, Princess Diana, and Bridgegate with Chris Christie.
Right.
And working in television, and I don't mean this in like a judgmental way, but you're used to compromise. So they're like, okay, that sounds good. No one wants to hear about Winston Churchill's depression.
Right.
And you're like, all right, cross that off. And in this case, it's like, all right, like, come back when you're done.
Right.
And so that has just been really refreshing and different. And so I've pretty much picked topics that I'm interested in. And I feel like you can tell that when it's something you're interested in, it makes a big difference. Like mayonnaise. It's just like,
I'm really into
gotta heat
mayonnaise,
it up.
and I'm so glad that you took that that message away from me. It's like, this girl loves mayo. But no, last year you were at Build, and you mentioned you wanted to uncover how Beyonce kept Lemonade a secret, right? So have you uncovered
that
any
was
of that?
impressive.
Any details on that? Tell me.
How did it happen?
Okay, so the NDA, non-disclosure,
Yeah.
the NDA that everyone had to sign going into that is ironclad.
Really?
So I can report to you that I have nothing. I've worked with like incredible people. I've been very lucky, and have been part of projects where we've uncovered people that are wrongfully incarcerated for murders they didn't commit, and have like looked into discovery and prison interrogation transcripts, court trials, subpoenas, like everything, and have figured out people that should be innocent, that not because of me, but because of good lawyers, ended up getting out. I can't figure out 1 inch of Beyonce's Lemonade video.
Wow.
That's so
So
funny.
whatever her lawyers are doing, and likely her, because she's,
Yeah. Like
Beyonce.
when you were snooping around, did anyone threaten you and say like, hey, this is not a story you want to uncover?
Yeah.
I would love to look at you in the eye and say yes, but
You
no
can't,
threats.
you're not allowed
No
to.
threats.
His eyes
email from
Okay,
Beyonce.
wow.
There were no
But this is
threats.
why she's our queen, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Like, you can find out about Winston Churchill's depression, Beyonce Lemonade.
Nothing. Not even like someone saying something off the record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, that's the thing.
There's
Normally
more leaks coming out of the White House right now than Beyonce has coming out of her camp.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Not even,
Are these lifelong NDAs, do we think? Are we never going to know
Yeah.
the secret behind Beyonce?
Yeah.
No,
Wow.
no,
I'm Lemonade.
no.
That means we're never going to find out who really bit her. I mean, we think we know, but like,
Yeah.
We have no idea.
It probably was Andrew. Did you bite her? Can you tell us?
No. Let's actually, I don't know.
just say no. Yeah, just say no.
She's
know.
dangerous. Yeah.
So you're telling these stories about real people, and do you ever? What is the balance of making sure you don't exploit them, and that you're really focusing on the facts? Like, I'm sure sometimes it kind of can get murky, especially with like the Britney Spears one.
100%. Yeah, like the Britney Spears one, I went into only knowing that she had this quote-unquote meltdown, and then I looked into it, and if you look back on it, it's so bizarre how, not bizarre, but kind of disheartening how terribly she was treated by everyone. Like, I think we can all like take the blame if I don't say so myself. Like, she was a teenager, and she was on the cover of Rolling Stone, like dressed, I don't want to say like a porn star.
Provocatively.
Yeah.
She's in her underwear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and with like a Teletubby,
Yeah,
and
I
it's
remember that.
nasty. It's nasty stuff, and then what's kind of also overlooked is she was really talented. Like
Right.
she knew how to market herself and do all these different. And then you go into your 20s, and there's been all this research done on the prefrontal cortex of your mind and how the mind develops. And as it turns out, we develop much later into our 20s than previously thought. And so you're talking about someone who's given not like this profound fame, if you will, like this really huge, and expecting her to act a certain way and told how to act. And so in that episode, it was more of like, she didn't have like a meltdown is a bad word that I was using, because if anything, it's like, it makes sense.
Right.
Who wouldn't react that way? Like, I'd shave my head and start beating people up with a baseball bat. Like, I mean, she didn't do that, but
It's umbrella.
Umbrella. Get the facts
you know, I love our listeners because we did an episode on a guy who's been wrongfully incarcerated for the murder of Michael Jordan's dad. We did another episode about Winston Churchill's depression, yada, yada, yada. I got the umbrella wrong, and I said bat on the podcast. And my Twitter handle, like, yo, you got this wrong, you know, facts are facts.
Right.
And I went
Fake
back
news.
into the cut and adjusted it accordingly.
Wow.
Are there any
Like people, like you two kind of
Yeah.
got on
Yeah,
me
I mean,
Well,
there.
because
Bears
bat
fans are also
also-
like
Yeah.
protective and
You gotta
A
love
bat
them,
is
yeah.
so different than an umbrella.
Yeah.
You know, she came out with a bat, you'd be like, oh no, she has
Yo,
like,
what
you
if,
know.
what if you combined a bat and an umbrella?
I mean, umbrellas don't need to be more dangerous. They're so dangerous. Do you know the number of injuries that go every year, but people getting poked in the eye? Because no one's walking and thinking about other people. Umbrellas are poorly made.
yes.
Going off that feedback from Twitter users, are there any stories that people really want you to tackle that your listeners really want you to kind of delve into?
Yes, yes. So one that I heard a lot, which we're going to do, is the 27 Club.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one.
That was something that came up quite a bit. There was a few people had recommended, which we're going to do. Remember Balloon Boy?
yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
12-year-old who one day there's like this alien-looking spaceship that's like traveling around Colorado, and there was a boy in it.
Yeah.
And then it turns out there wasn't.
And the sketchy dad.
And it was and it was breaking news, and people were going crazy, and like you can look on YouTube the footage, and it's unbelievable. We look into that. And then, so those are like two of the ones that come to mind. Dave Chappelle was another one in terms of when he quit his show. And then I just a lot of people before what happened at the U.S. Open were talking about Serena Williams, and so we do our episode that came out today is about something that happened to her at a 2001 Indian Wells tournament.
What is that? What happened to her?
So there was when she was, I think, 19. Her sister was 21. I may have that slightly wrong. I should know. There's a big tennis tournament called Indian Wells, and they were going to play each other in the semifinals. And it was this big match. It was broadcast live on ESPN. There's these two sisters that are, you know, up-and-comers and the whole 9 yards. And 4 minutes before they're about to play, they announce on the court that Venus is injured and won't be playing and the match is off. And so Serena automatically advances to the finals. And everyone started claiming that their dad, Richard Williams, had told Venus not to play. And that he was orchestrating, whenever they would play, that he would orchestrate these sorts of things. And I thought that was interesting. Like, that's a pretty hefty accusation. And they've played each other quite a bit. And so started to look into it. And I don't want to give it away, but suffice to say, what I thought I was just kind of interested and thought would be like a 5-minute explanation is a hour-and-a-half episode.
Wow.
And had no idea, you know, I've been working on it for like 8 months, had no idea that what just happened at the US Open, you know, a few weeks ago was going to create this stir, but
Yeah. That sounds. I'll definitely listen to that.
And that gets into other stuff, right? She got booed when she came back for the final by the crowd.
yeah,
The whole thing, right?
there's this stuff. Yeah,
I'm a big Serena fan. But
so-
it's a big deal.
it was a big deal, and I think, you know, what just happened at the US Open with her, I feel like everyone was so quick to have an opinion, and that's so easy to do. And if you really look at the larger picture of her career and the context, it makes so much sense, kind of what happened. And I'll admittedly say I've become a hardcore Serena Williams fan.
There we go. Get on board.
I think she's, if you look objectively speaking, she's the best athlete, male or female, of all time. just in terms of percentage wins. She has something like 86%
Yeah.
of any time she plays, she's going to win. That kills like Tiger Woods, anyone, like other tennis. Forget about it. And then what also interested me is people were in an uproar, some people, and now I am giving my opinion. So there was this uproar over how she acted at the US Open. And if you look at it historically, it was the third time she's been, can you curse on
yeah,
the
you
show?
can, yeah.
Third time she's been really just like,
Fucked over?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
There we go. That's the word.
like really, really just these bizarre rules that no one has ever instituted suddenly appearing.
Right.
And it's like, what the fuck is what are you doing? And it also is, if you look at it, a classic example of sexism, and I don't mean to like preach or anything here, but when Johnny Mac would throw a tantrum, people would be like, fuck yeah. And I've been to so many NBA games where a player is ejected, thrown out for doing crazy shit, and they get a standing ovation. And then she does it, and everyone's like, well, is that appropriate? And it's like, why is that a conversation? Any athlete, now I'm going on a bit of any athlete though, if they care, most people are like, hell yeah, like don't call me a cheater. What do you know, like, so anyway.
Andrew, I'm so excited to listen to this podcast because the diversity of topics, the detail, I feel like I want to learn so much about like the little things I thought were so little and then being so big.
It's a fun ride. Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
Apple Podcasts.
Andrew, thanks so much for coming. Everyone
Thank
give you a round of applause.
Thank you.
Be sure to check out season 2 of What Really Happened on Apple Podcasts. That's all from us. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same table.
Bye, guys. Thank you.